When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a nurse because I loved helping people and I also loved science.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted so badly to be the first black person on the moon.
Yeah, when I was younger, I really looked up to my parents and teachers, and I wanted to do something that they were doing and modeling to me.
I always knew in my heart I was going to be a lawyer. I was very argumentative in the classroom, especially when it came to topics that I was very passionate about. And I knew from when I could say the word lawyer, I was going to be a lawyer.
So when I was in high school, I wanted to go to college at an Adventist institution, and I wanted to go into nursing because I thought it would be a very stable job to go into. You can get a job anywhere, you make a good income. The turning point for my career where I was deciding to switch from nursing to theology didn't really happen overnight. It kind of was a process. I prayed about it a lot, and I realized that I wasn't ready to let go of my control over what I wanted to do, and I wasn't sure about how stable it would be of a career. And so praying about it and talking to a couple of the mentors in my life, I ended up deciding to switch to theology, and I was so happy about it.
When I was in high school, I thought it would be cool to be like a therapist and do counseling, because I found mental health to be kind of interesting. So that was my original plan, and I picked psychology. I went to be a student missionary in Palau, and while I was there, I knew that I was feeling very disillusioned with psychology and being a therapist because I didn't want to be in school forever. And while I was there, I really fell in love with teaching, and I fell in love with missions, and I really felt God telling me this is it. This is where I want you to go. I remember I went outside and I was looking up at the stars, and I just remember a thought occurred to me to go to Genesis 12. And I was like, all right. I turned to Genesis 12, and I remember that the Bible said that God called Abram to go to a land that he would show him. It hadn't really occurred to me that Abram didn't know it was Canaan at first, and that he had to say yes to the trip before knowing the destination. And I just remember talking to God. I was like, why'd you show me this? And he's like, do you trust me? And I was like, man.
I think I've always felt God's calling in regards to patient care and some aspect of ministry, having grown up with that. These past few years in college, I've been able to work on campus ministries and really surround myself with the atmosphere of a spiritual care environment, and had people speak into me and suggest hospital chaplaincy, which is now something I've been looking into.
We all decided to move, my husband and I, we decided to move to Virginia. And as we were living in Virginia, having children, and they're beginning to become school age, I was homeschooling. And as I was homeschooling, one day my daughter asked to go to school. And I said, okay, but you're not going by yourself. I'm coming too. And I asked, what could I do? How could I volunteer? And they asked me to teach one of their classes. It was a 7th grade math class, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved the students. I loved the curriculum. I loved the process. I said, Lord, what do you want me to do? I want to pursue law. That's what I have a passion to do. But I really loved working with the young people and being in the school building. And I'm in the train, and I'm praying in my mind, in my spirit, in my heart. And I said, wherever you want me to go, I'm going to follow you. And as soon as I came in the train, we went under a tunnel. I'm praying that prayer, and when I came from underneath the tunnel back out, it was a rainbow. And the rainbow, for me, the Holy Spirit was conveying, I promise to guide you and to keep you and to move forward. Let's go into the field of education. And that's when I knew.
You know, if you've just heard these stories and you feel touched by God and are questioning what your calling may be, know that the moment that God gives you a calling is a very powerful moment. It's a moment in your life when you're maybe wondering, God, what's next? Things maybe seem unexpected, and it can be daunting as well. But I want you to know that when God calls you, He will give you the peace and the joy that you need. Jeremiah reminds us that when God calls us, He's calling us for a future and a hope, not to harm us, but to prosper us. So my prayer today is that if you've heard God's call through these stories, that you will say yes to Him.